joining us for the Chamber's annual meeting. I'm here with Dr. Stephen McNew with the Intermediate School District, who's also our 2020 chairperson of the board, and Mark Elliott with Eastman and Smith, who is our 2021 chairman of the board, and our associate director to my right, Steve Mahalik, with the Chamber. I'm Michelle Dugan, if I haven't had the pleasure to meet you. Together, we're going to address the state of the Chamber. Despite the fact that we hosted a coffee club early in 2020 with Michael Jeffries, a motivational speaker, titled 2020 Vision, it appears that we didn't exactly have 2020 vision. None of us could have predicted what happened last year. Looking back, I know that we all feel that the past 12 months have been some of the most challenging that our nation, our region, and our individual businesses have ever faced.
You know, Michelle, I'll second that. It's been an interesting year, and especially coming from the educational community. I spent a ridiculous amount of time at home. Got tired of being at home, so I snuck away to the ISD. I was the only person on campus for several months. I was actually, and my script says, I was giddy, and I think I was when I got to speak out and do that. And you know, as it pertains to the Chamber, there are some incredible people that are involved with the Chamber. Not only our business community, the staff. I love the time mentioned. It's great, Steve. But Matt Buds, Matt's way up there. He's not participating this year. This is the first time in several years that you don't see Matthew up here talking for the Chamber. He's been the face of the Chamber with Michelle for several years. Matthew, Mark Elliott, Eric Bennett, Michelle, and myself, we spent hours and hours together at the beginning of the pandemic talking about the Chamber, working on just trying to do what we could do for this community. And so I'm so proud of our efforts, and the board is so dynamic, and I just wanted to say thanks. So,
Steve, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for your commitment, and what we've learned in the recent months is it's been some of the most transformative and innovative that the pandemic has taught us to adapt, to be more nimble, react more quickly, and try to be as proactive as possible. It's taught us to be even more flexible while we come together, while staying apart.
yeah, you know, looking back at the beginning of 2020, I go back about 14 or 15 months. Boy, the region was booming. We had, as a Chamber, we had ambitious plans for the year ahead. We were very aggressive with our agendas and our initiatives. We wanted to advocate, lead, and connect our community in ways to move not only the organization but our community forward. And then all of a sudden in March, I remember getting the call on March 13th when I had to tell my staff that I'm not sure when you're going to come back. And that's when it all started. No more gatherings. We weren't allowed to enter our office environments. And probably the worst thing was that we ran out of toilet paper.
So during this time, the Chamber faced the same challenges and asked many of the same questions that your businesses did. How do we do this? Do we have the right technology in place? How long will this last? And what in the heck is Zoom? While we were in the process of figuring this out, we focused on what our members needed from us right then. Our almost immediate outpouring of concern went to the restaurant industry as they were forced to close at the end of March in 2020.
Right, Michelle. Well, so while our plans morphed to accommodate the community's biggest needs, one thing remained constant. We held true to our vision to foster innovation and collaboration, and lived out our mission to promote the growth and success of business in Monroe County, Michigan. Exactly how do we do this, you might be thinking? By acting out our core values.
It began with thinking big and behaving boldly. We're always scanning the horizon for new opportunities, and we avoid getting stuck in the status quo. Being nimble and embracing change quickly was definitely put to the COVID test.
Your success is our success. We continue to explore new opportunities and try new approaches to old things. Because when you succeed, we succeed as well.
We kept our focus on you. We were delivering meaningful solutions and built an engaged network.
We also demonstrated our contagious passion because we care deeply about our relationships with our business partners and our community. We shared our spark of passion and energy, resourcing businesses with creative solutions.
Even as gathering in person was prohibited for part of the year, we delivered innovative and creative programs, services, and events as soon as we were legally able to do so. And that was certainly considered remarkable.
It sure was, Michelle. Our chamber hosted 22 of the 36 scheduled programs in 2020. In fact, it felt like we were the only entity in southeastern Michigan that was convening. While they looked and felt different, the overwhelming response was gratitude from those who attended. They were appreciative of our determination and to create opportunities to bring the community together, literally.
2020 brought some unexpected challenges. By the end of March, the chamber halted all spending that was not necessary. We made the difficult decision to reduce our staff in half by mid-year and negotiated discounted and discontinued recurring expenses. In the fourth quarter, we relocated our office to this amazing space. Oh, and it feels like we added a new staff person last year, named Zoom.
Yeah, I think that our claim to fame or survival was that we pivoted extremely quickly. Well, I think that we are all tired of hearing this buzzword, it accurately reflects what the pandemic required from us. And to the credit of the leadership, our chamber's executive committee, which I mentioned a few minutes ago, it truly was a team effort. Mark served as the incoming chairperson. Matthew Buds was past chairperson. I keep singing his praises. Eric Bennett was our treasurer, and obviously Michelle was the board secretary. Operating a mid-sized chamber seemed like a manageable task until all systems and procedures were no longer relevant.
I couldn't agree more, Steve. I will always be grateful for the executive committee and the genuine concern, care, and support that you all provided to me as an executive director. We made decisions guided by the exec committee's collective wisdom and experience that actually ended up getting us out of debt and allowed us to operate with some normalcy.
I'd like to call out a few things that we were able to accomplish this past year. I've got a list of them here. We created and cascaded a marketing campaign supporting our local businesses. Buy local or buy local sent the message that if we fail to support our businesses, they may not survive. We planned and implemented our golf outing on June 12th as scheduled. We had 84 golfers, including me. I'm not a golfer, but Eric Bennett, how about him with the golf ball? So sorry about that, Eric. Relocated and modified our 49th annual stakeout. But also held out the date originally scheduled in July. It was our first ever totally outdoor event at Forest View Lanes. Boy, it was hot that day too. We held the Leadership Monroe closing retreat in an outdoor setting, 4 months behind schedule, but we had a modified graduation to not include an audience. We launched and hosted a new Leadership Monroe class kicking off in September. Smallest class that we've had ever, only 10 participants I believe, but we did it. And that's to your credit. We also partnered with the Business Development Corporation on administering 2 separate grant programs. We resumed providing administrative services to the Tourism Bureau on a contract basis in October. We served as a critical communication link between the Community Foundation of Monroe County and our business partners to provide reopening supplies. And finally, we facilitated a complete overhaul of the Chamber's website. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see that yet, but it looks really good. So.
It does. Thank you, Steve. All this was accomplished during the pandemic, and it was the first year that we implemented our new investment structure. Fortunately, we had several years of intensive planning and preparation that enabled our team to pivot lightning fast.
And as we reflect on our lessons learned over the last year, it's obvious now that they can incite positive change for the future at the Chamber and in your businesses.
So while change was a required theme in 2020, one thing that has remained constant is the incredible support that the Monroe County Chamber of Commerce continues to receive from so many of you. Our 326 business partners or members, as we use those terms interchangeably, and especially those who were standing by our side with financial contributions when we weren't really delivering products or services, made an amazing difference for us. Our principal partners, are just going to ask them to say a few words. The first one will be DTE's Molly Lumpert-Coy, who's not able to join us in person, but we have a short video, a pre-recorded message.
Hi, this is Molly Lumpert-Coy, Regional Manager with DTE Energy, and we're really pleased to be here today to be a sponsor. We want to thank the Chamber for all the great work they do in our community, bringing us together to hear about important issues. And on behalf of DTE Energy, thank you. We're pleased to, again, sponsor efforts associated with the Monroe County Chamber.
Thank you, Molly. And next up, we have Sue Vanasacker with Lazy Boy Incorporated, making her way to the podium.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Michelle. I sit here in awe. Let me take this off. I sit here in awe when I think about everything that we've been able to do as a community. Pivot. Pivot is the word, isn't it? Pivot, Zoom, Teams meetings. The ability for all of us as a business community, as a nonprofit community, to come together for the good of our community. When I think about starting back in March, who would have ever thought, I think I remember thinking, well, by Easter we'll be out and about, right? So here we are 1 year later, and I continue to be at a group with business leaders and nonprofit organizations weekly, every Thursday at 2 o'clock, to talk about what's needed in this community. And Michelle, thank you to you for helping to convene the group, the Community Foundation of Monroe County, United Way, my partners at DTE, First Merchants, ProMedical, Lazy Boy. You just, ITC Holdings, am I missing anybody? That's good. But all of you have had to do so many wonderful things, and at Lazy Boy, we're just proud and honored to be a part of that.
Thanks, Sue. Next up is Amanda Phoebus with First Merchants Bank.
Thanks, Michelle. So I just want to talk for a minute about First Merchants' vision statement, which is to enhance the financial wellness of the diverse communities we serve. This means our investment in philanthropy, contributing thousands of dollars to our community, the financial expertise, and being a rock for our businesses as we battle the economic effects from COVID, including over 1,000 PPP loans and $135.5 million. So I'm not a commercial lender, so I just sat on the sidelines and watched that work, and it was really remarkable. And I just a debt of gratitude for our team for being able to be there for businesses in this time. Also developing multifaceted financial wellness resources and education, and our commitment to walk alongside businesses and organizations such as the Chamber. I know Michelle and Steve and the Chamber Board continue to reinvigorate their approach to serving businesses in our community. We're excited to be a part of that conversation. As we mark the annual meeting of the Chamber, a note of appreciation from First Merchants to thank you for your continued way to reimagine the most effective way to provide support and leadership for our business community. Thanks. Thanks,
Amanda. Our circumstances would certainly not be as optimistic without the support that we've received unconditionally from many of you businesses. We'd also like to recognize today's annual meeting sponsors. We have Exciting Windows, Couture by Karen, and Krebs Building Company, as well as the Manikin Smith Group. Thank you very much, we appreciate it. We also want to just shout out to our elected officials, whether they're present today or not, who fought tirelessly to help us reopen businesses. That became a interesting situation. Reopen businesses that are supposed to be open.
I'd like to do a special shout out to the 11 businesses that joined our chamber this past year. We want to thank Assured Partners, Daily Merit Insurance, American Oak Creations, Emerge Health and Wellness, Monroe Medical Associates, A1 Recovery and Towing, Supporting Strategies, Cartwright of Monroe, Metro by T-Mobile, Man with a Mower, Tractor Supply Company in Lambertville, IHM Senior Living Community, and T-Mobile for Business. Last but not least, we'd like to acknowledge our 2020 Board of Directors. These individuals are your peers, and they represent the broad range of businesses that make up the Chamber membership. We'd like to thank Dr. Stephen McNew, Chairperson, Monroe County Intermediate School District, Matt Buds, past Chairperson, RCO Law and More Buds Law, Mark Elliott, Chairperson-elect, Eastman and Smith, Eric Bennett, Treasurer, the Manick and Smith Group, Drew Lindecker, Creative Promotions, Karen Esri, Exciting Windows, Couture by Karen, Gretchen Eiler, First Merchants Bank, and Shelley Taylor with Team Solutions, and Michelle Dugan with the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for your service and for sharing your time and expertise. Your leadership during 2020 has been more important than ever. 2020 was the ultimate test of a healthy board of directors, and I want you all to know that our board passed the test with flying colors.
Yeah, and once the pandemic hit, the Chamber was a reliable, consistent, and sought-after source of information on COVID-19 and how it affected the business community, as well as other important issues that concern our region. I look forward to seeing the Chamber and our business community's continued innovation and collaboration in 2021 and beyond. At this time, I would like to officially welcome Mark Elliott as your 2021 Chairperson of the Monroe County Chamber of Commerce. Mark, congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. Very much appreciated. I can't tell you what your leadership meant to the Chamber and to me personally over the past year. You guided us into deep conversations about the organization's health, but also expressed your own personal interest in us individually. And I can express my personal gratitude for that. You led the Chamber to stability while carrying an extremely heavy burden of navigating the necessary twists and turns needed for the intermediate school district. On behalf of the Board of Directors and partners, I would like to present you with this commemorative clock for your chairmanship and your commitment to the organization. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
I would like to express our sincere thanks to our outgoing board member and 2018 and 19 chairman of the board, Matt Buds. Matt will receive a wood plaque for his years of service. He served on the Chamber Board from 2015 through 2020. You want Matt to come down and do his plaque?
Absolutely.
Congratulations. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. Much appreciated. In addition, we'd also like to spotlight our newest member of the Board of Directors, Brian Merkel, owner of Merkel Funeral Services, who assumed Matt's seat on our 2021 Board of Directors. Our Board of Directors serve as an advisory capacity to our Executive Director. Our job is, you guessed it, to direct. We met in November to forge the 2021 business plan, which our small team of two, Steve and Michelle, spend their days implementing. It is an aggressive plan that assumes that a heightened degree of normalcy will emerge soon after the first quarter, hopefully into the second and third quarters. I'd like to share a few of those lofty goals with you now. We want to increase and enhance our Chamber digital communications, cascade the Chamber brand, and deliberate marketing plan to all Monroe County businesses. We want to streamline the Chamber operations with less focus on events. We want to deliver resources to our investors. Continue to provide administrative services to the Tourism Bureau with the intent of improving their organizational health. As a tenant of the River Raisin National Battlefield and community partner, we will assist them in advertising and renting the various spaces in this beautiful facility. And I'm hoping to remove the word pivot from our daily vocabulary.
Me too. Thanks, Mark. The Chamber is a group that convenes, for sure. We bring people together for networking, trainings, and events. We look forward to creating productive spaces for dynamic outcomes amongst you, our business partners. We remain open for business to serve you, to promote the growth and success of your business, and are optimistic about what this year will bring. Well, everyone, that concludes our annual meeting for 2020. And at this time, we're excited to share our new space with you. We affectionately refer to this building as the chamber, our office, or our shared space. But to be clear, the City of Monroe owns the building. They lease it to the River Raisin National Battlefield Park Foundation, and the foundation leases to us. So the reason that we wanted you to come, one of the primary reasons we wanted you to come in person today, we wanted to see you too. But we want to showcase the nearly complete renovation of this amazing facility that was a former ice skating rink, for those of you who aren't familiar with it. This building will officially or unofficially be soft opening in May for community use. You can inquire to the chamber if you'd like to rent some space, or call the Battlefield directly. Either of us will be able to help. So meanwhile, Scott Bentley, Superintendent of the National Park Service, is with us this morning, and he's standing by to offer us guided tours. We appreciate the effort that all of you made to get fully dressed. Nobody has pajama bottoms on, I don't think, and attend the Chamber's annual meeting. So at this point, I will defer to Scott Bentley. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Michelle, and I want to thank the entire Chamber. It's been a great partnership, and it has been over the last 10 years since I've been here with the Chamber, and I couldn't do it without you. I thought before we walked through the building that I'd give a little bit of statistics, and then I want to thank all of our major donors related to this facility too, because quite frankly, we couldn't do it without them. And so I'll throw some statistics to you, then I'll thank our donors, and then those that want to, we could walk around. It is still a construction site in lots of areas of the building, so I'll ask that you be careful as we wander around. But in light of COVID and all of our pivoting, of course, we've had to do the same thing. But believe it or not, we had another record year this past year. So people went out and used the national parks. Michigan was an anomaly in that way. Most of Michigan's national parks actually saw increased visitation, while nationwide national parks actually saw a decrease in visitation. So I can't explain that. But we had a record 309,977 visitors in 2020 that actually came here. 58% of those were from Michigan, 16% were from Ohio, and then 26% were from 41 other states. Prior to COVID hitting, we actually did have visitors from 6 foreign countries that logged in. Once the pandemic locked things down, we didn't have any international visitors, obviously. Interestingly enough, though, in June 11th, we opened for 35 days, so into July, we kind of had a lull, if you remember, in the pandemic. And during that time at our visitor center, the old one, across the street, we actually logged visitors in from 28 different states. So people were still traveling in the midst of the pandemic. And we were quite surprised. We expected most of our visitors were going to be local visitors or regional visitors. And we did actually have a numerous amount of Southeast Michigan, with the bulk of our visitors. But we were quite surprised to see 28 different states during that time. We're looking forward to opening unofficially. We haven't put out the date officially yet, just because of the pandemic, but we're shooting for May 8th, as Michelle sort of alluded, and doing a soft opening. We're going to have the Flora of Michigan art exhibition as well on display at that time, so no big festivities or major gatherings, but we'll be open 7 days a week, assuming the pandemic allows us to, again, starting in May, and here in this new facility, which we're really excited about. The facility wouldn't be possible without just tremendous partners. And I'm only going to list our major contributors and supporters. The list actually is really, really long if I were to list everyone, and I wish I could, but obviously the City of Monroe is right at the top. They've just been a tremendous partner in what we're doing here, along with the state of Michigan and Michigan DNR. You have contributed several $1 million to the park in its development. And so La-Z-Boy Foundation and La-Z-Boy Corporation are fantastic. DTE and DTE Foundation, ProMedica Hospital, the Carl's Foundation, the National Park Trust, the National Park Foundation, the Nottawassippi Huron Band of the Potawatomi, the Coca-Cola Corporation, First Merchants Bank, the Monroe County Historical Society, and the Wyandotte Nation are all major supporters of what we're doing here, and have contributed collectively millions of dollars to what we're doing here at the park, and we couldn't do it without the help of those folks. And Again, I wish I could go on with the list because it's really long, but what I'd really like to do, and I think that's what Michelle really wanted me to do instead of standing up here and talking from the podium, is wander through the building, kind of share where we're at. You'll see some things underway and spaces that are just getting finished, and of course you're in the theater. This theater, when it's finished, you can see some stanchions. We'll actually have more seats that haven't arrived yet that will get installed before May. It'll be a 154-seat theater, and it is a 4K video projection as well as Dolby 5.1 surround that will play our educational films, and then use it for things like this, community meetings or get-togethers or panel discussions or things like that. And so this is the first space we'll visit, and we'll kind of wander out and go through what's going to be the education center. That portion of the building won't actually open to the public until probably late winter, this coming year, because the exhibits are all still going in, and so you'll get to see that sneak peek as we go through. So.
And will you specifically point out which spaces will be available for rent?
Sure, I can
Okay.
do that.
I
Yeah,
think that would
absolutely.
be
Obviously,
helpful.
this is one of those spaces, and then we can. We probably won't wander upstairs, but there is a 1,400 square foot classroom upstairs as well that will be available. So. And I'm happy to take questions as we go through. I won't get into the park history and mission. You have to come back for that. Michelle will warn you, as a park ranger, I could talk for a very long time if you'd like to hear the history and the mission. But it is significant internationally, and so we're excited to share that. So I'll mask back up. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me all right. And we'll wander if that is at this time.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.